Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see today we are going to check something special. That's a new kit from Zoukei-Mura. It's a part of Super Wing series. It's actually 13th kit, as you can see, quite a lucky number. And it is molded in 1/32 scale, and it copies Ki-45 Kaitei Kawasaki aircraft. As you can see, that's a twin engine aircraft, and now we have a chance to check it closer. That's a final commercial release, so it means you'll get exactly the same boxing, packaging, plastic if you order it directly from Zoukei-Mura. So, as you can guess, in 1/32 scale, this aircraft should be huge, and as you can see, it barely fits our cutting mat. Here you can see comparison with my hand, and even though box is huge, it is not that heavy, but it is thick. I will show you the thickness, so here you can see it. Really impressive sizing of the box. Just let me switch the focus so that I will be able to show you more. So first of all, we have here on the side some information about the aircraft. It's written in Japanese. Also we have some safety information in Japanese and English. And then on the other side, just give me a second. We all love such huge boxes, right? So here you can see some of the features of this kit. So we have fully detailed internal structure, wheel wells, also here we have engine, and also openable canopy as far as I can guess. Now I'm guessing because everything is written in Japanese, so it's really difficult to understand what they meant by those pictures. Nevertheless, box is huge. It means there are a lot of plastic sprues, so let's open this top opening box. Just give me a second to lift it. Okay, so as you can see, box structure is quite interesting. We have color printed top part, and then we have this sturdy cardboard box which should actually protect everything inside. So I'm going to open it, and here is what we have inside. Ha ha ha. So as you can see, really impressive amount of sprues. Straight away I can see some interesting design cues, but let's not jump it. We will check them one by one. So just let's move it here to the front, and we will start with the top frame. Each frame comes in the sealed plastic bag. Now we can zoom in so that you can see only frame. Frames are noticeably smaller than packaging box. So just give me a second to open it. And first frame is dedicated to fuselage halves. Surprisingly, those fuselage halves are not as long as I thought, but still it will be quite impressive in finished state. So parts division, as far as you can see, is typical for such kit, and the only thing which you can notice that is a bit unusual is that we don't have the tail segment here. So it will have to be assembled separately, and the same can be said about this top section of the fuselage. Here it is. And overall molding quality seems to be fine. Let's zoom in so that you can see, for example, these fuselage halves. Here they are. The recessed panel lines and riveting are present. And again, note attachment points. We still get a slightly wide attachment points. I'm not that, let's say, happy to see this. But otherwise, molding quality seems to be fine. So in case, as long as you carefully separate all those dots and points, it will be easy to work with the kit. Also here we have separately molded flaps. They're quite thin, and I will flip them over so that you can see internal structure. Internal structure is also preserved into the fuselage halves, so it will be up to you how you will show this on your model, but it looks really impressive. Not that many kits, especially in this scale, offer such detailing, so it's really I would say impressive feature which might be appreciated by some modelers. Next we have another fuselage half sprue, but this one is a bit more special because here we have transparent plastic sprue. So as you can see, we will have transparent fuselage halves or gray fuselage halves. Of course it will be up to you which which one to choose, because as far as I can see, they can be even combined, so that means gray and transparent sprue together. Actually, gray half and transparent half together. And that will bring some interesting result. maybe you can build a combo from transparent parts, it will be up to you. But as you can see, we have really impressive molding quality. Sorry. And as you can see, again, we have recessed panel lines and riveting, but now with transparent parts, we have also this slightly, let's say, frozen molding style, so that it's not fully transparent, but it is transparent with, let's say, some degree of not being so transparent, if you know what I mean. And here you can see from the inside. So outside we have more or less matte surface, while inside we have this glass-like surface. So it's a really cool finish, and I think these parts will be definitely used by some of you. We even have transparent flaps, as you can notice, so it's really a good opportunity to open the full structure of this model to show what is inside, and it is nice that Zoukei-Mura decided to include it. Next we have another transparent plastic sprue. This one again features some parts which are also replicated in gray plastic, so again we will have a choice. And as you can see here, we have engine gondolas, so this might be assembled. I would rather do with these parts, one transparent and one out of the gray plastic. It would look even better. So here you can see all those parts. Molding quality seems to be really great, and we can even zoom into those fuselage halves. So here you can see it. Here we have another two, and here we have those cooling flaps and other parts. It will be interesting to see what assembly options are offered in this kit, because as far as you can see, we'll have some alternative parts. So maybe it is possible to assemble, for example, cooling flaps in open or closed position, and some other parts as well. So here we have the same sprue out of the gray plastic. I'm going to show it because here you would be able to see external detailing of those parts. It's a G sprue, and here we have parts for engine gondolas. So just give me a second to place this plastic back. So as you can see, again we have those cooling flaps, also we have engine gondolas parts, and I would zoom in so that you can see it closer. Here we have recessed panel lines and riveting. It looks really nice. And from the other side we have full internal detailing, which is really cool. It is present even here. So be sure to show it somehow, because it will be pity to hide it inside your model without showing it to, let's say, viewers. I think it's a really perfect opportunity to search for some interesting way to expose those parts. Another clear plastic sprue. So basically we have here at least what we see for the moment. Each gray sprue is also accompanied with transparent sprue. So basically you can even try to build two aircraft out of this. I wonder if it will be possible. Maybe engine is limited only to 2 pieces. But here we have the wing parts sprue. Parts division is quite, I would say, obvious, because we have the twin engine aircraft, so that's why we have each wing assembled out of 2 parts. As you remember, flaps are separate. It is also visible that ailerons are also separate. Engine gondolas, of course, are separate. And again, even on those transparent parts, I can zoom in and let's bring it closer so that you can see this riveting and recessed panel lines. Here they are. Impressive quality. And of course, internal structure is replicated, but I think it will be better to show it with help of gray plastic parts, because on those parts it's not as visible. But first we have this interesting plastic bag. So here we have small plastic sprues. I would like to check first this one. So just give me a second. We have here canopy parts. As you remember, canopy can be assembled in open or closed position, and the final choice of course will be up to you. And also here we have various windows and other clear elements, for example position lights, which are also molded out of transparent plastic, obviously. Okay, so here we are. Let's put this gray plastic sprue aside. Here we have the transparent sprue with canopy parts. As you can see, molding quality is really impressive. I hope that masks are included, because otherwise you will have to cut all those separate areas by your hands. And another plastic sprue, which is molded out of clear plastic, carries minor elements. Here it is. As you can see, again, we have nice molding quality. Note that here we have quite decent attachment points. I'm not sure why on the gray plastic sometimes we have wide attachment points. And next, just give me a second, because I have to place this plastic sprue here. Next, as you remember, we have this gray plastic sprue. And with gray plastic sprue, as far as you can see, we have some... Actually, the last transparent plastic sprue was replicating this frame. So as you can see here, we have gray plastic parts in case you will be copying this side of the aircraft with gray plastic sprue. Those ones will be handy. And that's really cool that they thought through this, let's say, moment. And we have options to build. Maybe you would replicate hatches with transparent plastic on the gray fuselage part. It will be up to you, but I think it's really huge opportunity to try something new. And here we have another plastic sprue. I'm not sure what those parts will be used for. Those parts are obviously for the fuselage. This is a landing gear wheel, but those ones I'm not sure. So we have to check assembly manual, which will be later, of course, because now we have more transparent sprues. Also, it is interesting how many transparent sprues are here, because here we have gray plastic sprue, and this one is dedicated to nose cone and also some other parts for this aircraft. And nose cone surprisingly comes as a one-piece part. That's really cool, especially in this scale. Some model companies can't mold the nose cone as a one-piece part in smaller scales, but here we get it straight away out of the box. As you can see here, nice part design, which should make it easier to assemble the model and avoid any possible problems with it. And here you can see also engine cooling parts. Next, if this is not enough for you, we have also the same sprue, which is molded out of transparent plastic. So just give me a second. Okay, let's move it aside. And now the same, but clear. So as you can see, even nose cone is molded out of clear plastic, and this one might be a good opportunity to copy something interesting. Of course, it might require some due care due to the transparent plastic, but I think it will be easy to work with it. And next we have, what do we have? Gray plastic sprue with wing parts. As you remember, just a few minutes ago we checked transparent plastic sprue, and now we have gray parts. So again, I'm thinking about building one wing with transparent parts and one wing with gray plastic parts. That would be an interesting combo. But here you can see gray plastic parts, which actually should help you understand, let's say, external detailing. So as you can see, we have recessed panel lines, riveting, and I would zoom in so that you can see it better. Now you should be able to see it. And from the other side, we have position pins, and we also have here the top section of the flaps, because as you remember, the lower section is molded separately, and it would be possible to retract it on your model. Next we have, I think, no, they're not similar. So here we have various parts for the engines. Just give me a second. I'm also always impressed how Zoukei-Mura combines all the parts on the sprues, so that we don't get a lot of small sprues with various parts, we get actually, let's say, reasonable amount of the frames with various minor parts. And here you can see perfect example, because here they combined the machine guns together with engine exhausts and various tanks, even parts for the landing gear and parts for the engine cooling. It looks everything on this spruce looks nice. I can show you these machine guns because they look interesting. Just give me a second. So now you should be able to see it. Really nice molding quality, and some modelers will appreciate that barrels are molded separately. And next we have another great plastic sprue. So just give me a second. Here it is. Again, we cut through the plastic bag. And here we get the landing gear wheels, also landing gear system, and some parts for the engine once again. So as you can see, those engine frames are molded as one-piece parts, so you won't have to combine separate parts, which is really cool. And here we have various piping for the engine. Wheels look simple. I mean, we can all agree on this. So if you have a chance to get resin replacement, I would rather do this. But inside we have the guiding, let's say, guiding element, which will help you align these two halves together. Okay, so that's this sprue. Next we have quite impressive frame. It is really wide. Why? Because here we have the wing subframe, let's say, which will be actually holding both wing halves in place, because otherwise it will be really difficult to get the rigid structure in such huge size. And also here we get some cockpit elements. As far as I can see, this pilot seat broke off, so I will just leave it in the plastic bag just in case. Here it is, molded as one-piece part. Nothing serious happened with it, but it broken off because it was attached via 2 points only. So here you can see this plastic sprue. So of course the most impressive is this one-piece part. There is nothing to join, you get it one piece, you just have to separate all those attachment points. Also here we have dashboard. I will zoom in so that you can see it. So this is a typical Zoukei-Mura molding quality. We get all the dials carefully copied in plastic. So I think that should be more than enough for 1/32 scale, but of course you can get some PE parts in order to detail it. Here you can notice that some wires are pre-molded, and also note this nice attention to details. Here we have various subframes. Again, really impressive quality. And note the attachment points to the propellers. With this, I'm not that happy because they're attached to the blades of the propellers, so you will have to be careful while separating those parts. Otherwise, you might end up with ugly propeller blades. Next, we have another gray plastic sprue. Here we get the various external elements, mainly tail wings and elevators. And also, as far as I can see, we get one dashboard. So here you can see it. Let's zoom in a bit. So here you can see it. And attachment points look good. Molding quality is absolutely great. And here I want to show you the dashboard. Obviously it will be used for some different type of the assembly for the dashboard. Inside these tail wings we have full internal structure copied. That's, I think, the tail fin, which should be glued out of 2 parts. Why we have internal structure? Because we have another transparent plastic sprue. So that's seriously, that's like 2 kits in one. As long as you will be able to find engine, maybe even resin engine, and also maybe also the landing gear parts, because landing gear parts are not given in 2 pieces. But here you can see the same sprue, absolutely the same sprue which we just reviewed, but molded out of clear plastic. So it looks really impressive, and with some careful painting it will be even better. So as I was saying, if you will be able to get the additional engine and landing gear system, it will be possible to assemble 2 models at once. Maybe you can use those gray plastic parts to show the downed aircraft. That's also an idea in my opinion. So I appreciate such packaging. And here we have another plastic sprue. This one is more concerned with internal elements, even though we have also those fuel tanks in here as well. And again, great molding quality, nothing to complain about. So we move on to the next plastic sprue, which is also molded out of gray plastic. So in other words, all internal elements are molded out of clear plastic. Actually, internal elements are molded out of gray plastic, and all external panels, fuselage panels, are molded out of clear plastic as well. So here you can see another plastic sprue. This one carries this interior floor, also oxygen bottles as far as I can see here. Various parts for machine guns, landing gear system. Everything is nicely detailed, so no complaints whatever. And next we have, I think those two are identical. Why? Because they carry engine parts, so we will check only one. There is no point in unpacking both. Traditionally for Zoukei-Mura, engine is really detailed, so I think there will be nothing to complain about. But of course we have to open it and take a look with our own eyes. So here you can see it. Really nice molding quality, and let's not forget that even wiring is included here, so you get fully detailed engine and you can expose it with help of transparent cowling, which is also quite a cool feature. Next we have two plastic sprues with various additional parts, so I'm going to open it like this. Just give me a second. Okay, so this narrow sprue obviously will be used for internal detailing. Here we have various minor handles and other parts. I can bring closer this part so that you can see, well, attention to those small details. It's really impressive. And then we have another gray plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to machine guns and whatever connected with them. So here this, let's focus the camera, and now you should be able to see it. So here we have the machine guns, here we have also the ammo. Really nice design. I don't know how many times I say that it's really nice, but it is. So this kit deserves such a appraisal. And here we have various thin lines. I'm not sure what they will be used. As far as I can guess, they will be used for copying the controls on the aircraft, because as you remember, previous Zoukei-Mura releases did not copy such feature. So here you can see the first frame. Let's zoom out. And then we have the second frame, also full of thin parts. Of course they will require careful separation, because otherwise you just break them and then you have to fix this situation somehow. And now we can move to assembly manual. Assembly manual is packed into the separate plastic bag, and it comes like this. So let's zoom out. Here you can see it, and it is packed together with Decals sheet as far as I can see. So let's open it and check it closer. Okay, just give me a second. I will remove it out of the plastic bag. So first of all, I would like to take a look. Yes, these are masks. So we get masks for this kit. It's really cool because we won't have to cut everything with our own hands. As you can see, these are pre-cut. And as far as I remember, masks from Zoukei-Mura are quite nice in their precision, because you don't have to trim anything, and that's really cool. Next we have this Decals sheet. It is printed in cartograph, so it looks absolutely great. I'm still not sure how many marking options are there, but as you can see, we have even decals for the cockpit. And know that there are two types of the dashboard decals. So one will be handy with transparent decals, transparent dashboard, and one will be handy with pre-molded dials on the part. Also, we have stencils here and some other minor elements for the cockpit detailing. Of course, those white areas can be replicated with masking. It will be up to you how you choose to copy them on your model. And now we move on to the last component of this kit, which is not the less, let's say, important, because here, as you can see, we have assembly manual. Assembly manual is printed in form of this nice brochure. That's traditional Zoukei-Mura style. Usually they make it as a manual for the aircraft. So let's open it. Here on the first page we have contents page for the assembly manual. That's really surprising. As you can see, there are 58 pages. And first we have technical specifications, short history note, then we have some short notes about, for example, engine, machine cannons, and then we have list of features for this kit, which looks really impressive in my opinion. Next we have assembly process, but first we have important notes when assembling, necessary tools, paint numbers which are given in Vallejo paint codes, and we start with the engine. Note that there is also total parts count, and here we have two options for the assembly. So we have special attack aircraft and also late production aircraft. You'll have to choose it in advance, because otherwise you won't be able to influence it later. As you can see, air intakes are different and also some other parts on these engines. So be sure to choose the right version for your camouflage. Here we start with engine assembly, and it looks impressive in my opinion. All those schemes should be easy to understand. As far as I remember, when I was building the Zoukei-Mura kit, I did not have any problems with assembly manual. So as you can see, we assembled the right engine, left engine. We also have options for those types of the engines, as you remember. And also we have engine exhibition stand, so you can place it on the special stand. It will be standing close to your aircraft, and it will be also quite a nice option to display what should be installed inside the aircraft. Next we continue with cockpit, and note that it will also use this huge subframe for the wing. Here we have pictures of the finished cockpit. Of course you might get something different with weathering. We start with cockpit 4, then we continue with main wing spar, center wing. We also have linkage rods. So I was right about these thin parts. We have front seat floor. Next we continue with cockpit interior, cockpit right side wall, left side wall, armor plate, front seat, control stick. Even control stick has its own chapter, as you can see here, and you have to be careful while painting it. Here we have instrument panel assembly, so we have two options, as you remember, and you will be able to choose between clear part and also the part with promoted dials. Then we install it on the cockpit. We continue with radio. Here we have rear seat base, gun ring track, also rear seat bulkhead, rear seat auxiliary instrument panel, and that's pretty much all. Next comes the fuselage. So as you can see, also quite impressive amount of parts. Here you can see a finished version of the fuselage, but it will be up to you if you would like to use clear parts, for example here. So we start with central fuselage, we continue with cannon. Note that we have options, which will depend on the camouflage you choose for this marking, for this aircraft. Next we continue with fuselage underside, right side, inner side plate. And also here we have important check first. What is this? Before cementing, make sure that you check whether it is possible to attach left and right outer panels. As in the figure, without applying any glue, test fit the parts. So yeah, just do the dry fitment in order to understand if everything is right. If not, correct it. Then we continue with inside of the rear fuselage, rear bulkhead, tail wheel. Next is a left side inner side plate. Then we continue left and right fuselage assembly, upper fuselage assembly, nose bulkhead, lower fuselage side plate. So a lot of separate panels, but let's not forget that you can also copy them with clear parts. And this one looks even more impressive because here we have wings and landing gear assembly. And as you can see, this will be quite a difficult task, I think. Or let's say not the difficult, but time consuming. Because we start with gear wheel wall, and then we continue with fuel tanks, a main landing gear, then lower wing, fillet, horizontal stabilizer, and vertical stabilizer, of course, main landing gear, right side assembly here. It is also cool that we have color printed pictures of the sub-assemblies so that you understand what you should get if you will repeat those actions which are shown on those schemes. That's a really cool feature about Zoukei-Mura assembly manual. And here we have final outfitting, so we'll be fitting, for example, propellers, nose section, and some other minor elements for this aircraft. So we start with machine gun, of course, then we continue with gun sight, outer panels, landing gear, doors, flaps. Of course, flaps can be assembled in a lowered position or with folded position. Here we have ailerons, installation guide, canopy. Canopy, as you remember, can be in closed or open position. Here you can see it in open position. Then we continue with, what is this? That's a foothold. So also you can copy it in open or closed position. Fuel cooler, auxiliary tanks, and here we have marking guide. So first one is a late production aircraft which comes from the 53rd Flight Regiment 3rd Squadron. As you can see, it has this traditional green color marking. And another one might be interesting for those who love some challenges because it copies special attack aircraft with this nice marking on the airplane. Obviously, it will be a bit more difficult to copy on your model. And here, by the way, the small note shows how to use masks on your aircraft. And here we have parts map so that you understand how many sprues we have in this kit. And last page just has the website of the manufacturer. And just to remind you, this is a 13th kit in the Super Wing series. So, in my opinion, that's absolutely impressive kit which has no rivals on the market. As far as I remember, nobody produces this aircraft type in such big scale. Of course, it will require some due care, but with some attention and some experience, you will be able to get a nice result. And I think even out of the box version will look absolutely amazing. So it's just a matter of careful assembly and weathering this aircraft. And I think that's pretty much all. I don't see any other bonuses in the box. So if you have something to say about this kit, write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video and you want to help us, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, I would like to say sorry for my throat. I'm not feeling that well, but I thought that this kit deserves review ASAP, so that's why I'm recording it now. And of course, we will see each other in the next video as usual. So, bye.